children go through sexual abuse?
Correct. No. All kinds of children go through sexual abuse, like about in a certain percentage, okay? All children don't go through.
No, not all. Okay, so let me rephrase it. People like us feel, women generally feel, only girls go through sexual abuse. But that's not true. Boys go through sexual abuse. We feel only girls go through rape. No, even boys go through rape. But how many parents understand? How many parents understand when a child says that I don't want to go to school, or I am not happy, or a child is being cranky, irritable, or sad, depressed, quiet? A lot of things that a child can behave in, a lot of ways that a child can behave in, and the parents will have absolutely no idea, because now earlier times when I was small, I went through abuse. My drawing teacher also abused me. My PT teacher also abused me. Other than that, my some uncles, like my dad's friend, they abused me. But as a child, one thing I don't understand is, why are children scared? Scared to speak out. Scared to say to their parents, this is what this person did. Okay, it happened with me, I didn't speak up. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. But what I feel is, as a person, as a child at that time, I was scared that maybe they will turn around and tell me that it's your fault. Because what this happened is dirty. It's not good. Children don't do this. But if it happened, it must be your fault. And honestly speaking, this actually happened, that when I did say to my husband, I was told, oh, it must have been your fault. You must have done something for that person to behave like that. Hello? That's not true. You can't just, like how they were saying, like since a few years they've been saying, oh, this girl is wearing short skirt, she's wearing a low neck, that's why she got raped. What about those 1 month, 2 month old children that are getting raped? What about those women in a burqa that are getting raped? What about the women in saris and elder women who are getting raped or abused? So, and what about the boys? What have the boys done for men, teachers, professors, uncles to rape the boys? What did the boys do? Were they wearing a short skirt? Did they have, a vagina to show off? What is happening in this world, I don't understand. But what is more important? And when we were discussing about this, two things came to light. Two things that, when we were talking to her. One is, when this thing is happening, earlier there were no CCTVs, alright? In homes there may not be CCTVs. But in the passage, in the lift, in the stairways, in buildings, on roads, there are CCTVs. When that is happening, in schools, colleges, when that crime is happening, when the abuse is happening, it is being recorded in the CCTV. But why is the CCTV installed? Not so that you can check later that what happened and who did it. The CCTV is installed so that you can stop it from happening when it is happening. Nobody does that. Not in buildings, not in housing societies, not the government, not on the roads, nowhere, not in the schools. Why isn't there a person assigned to constantly be looking at that recording and that CCTV so that he can stop the crime from happening before it happens? Number one. Number two, very important, parents, society. When you tell somebody, this is what happened with me, or a child, supposing doesn't say it, but suddenly goes quiet, or suddenly something happens like, okay, when for the first time I was abused by my dad's friend, I suddenly went quiet. And now that I, think back, I just stopped talking. Even in school, I mean, there was a lot of disturbance at home also. I used to be stressed about it. But I suddenly went quiet, and from what I remember, In my second standard, the teacher called my mother to ask her what has happened to her. Why doesn't she talk? She doesn't make friends. She doesn't answer questions. She doesn't ask questions. Why doesn't she open up? My mother had no answer. Because she didn't know.
Yeah.
But similarly, a lot of parents may not know. Not just of daughters, but even of sons. Why does this happen? Why do you think it happens? Does it happen often? Does it happen with, a large percentage? I'm not aware.
So, first and foremost, I don't think it has got to do with a generation thing, because now that I'm thinking about it, you and I come from the Gen X generation, correct? It happened with both of us. For me, it was physical abuse at home, because I forgot to tell you about my dad, correct? And outside there was this pressure of sex that was happening in school. So मैंने शुरू कैसे किया था is that I said that when I was in an all boys school,
correct.
Remember, that was the thing that I mentioned. When I was in an all boys school, there was no great bullying, there was no great ragging. This was my personal experience.
But is that also because of the age you were in the boys' school and the girls' school?
Maybe because I was there from kindergarten, so I made my friends growing up till my 7th standard. So probably that could have mattered. That could have been a factor.
Yeah.
The moment, but there was a glaring, there was a glaring break when I went from the all boys school to a co-ed school. And at that point in time, I was 13. So I was just coming into puberty, and I was just coming into my sexual awareness. And I became fat, I became plump, and I was very femme. Very femme. I'm telling you, Ginny, there is this thing where I felt literally that when we were in an all boys surrounding, being femme was not that looked down upon. The moment we had a co-ed system where boys probably wanted to show things to the girls or become more macho, and girls wanted to be more femme, I could not find a place there because I was a boy who was femme. So there was a dichotomy happening there. That's the reason why in the 8th standard, I used to be pursued for sexual favors. They used to ask me for a hand job. They would ask me whether I would take it in my mouth. And because of that, I didn't understand this. Please remember, I was coming from a very sheltered household. And then I came to a nuclear family because it was just mom. There it was my dadi, my buas, my mom, sissy, everybody was there. Here I came and I could not open up, and I did not understand what was happening. So I used to run into the into the bathroom to escape in the recess. And I must also say that there were 2 boys who figured this out, and they helped me through my entire year. Okay, they figured it out, and they used to make me sit between both of them. And I still remember their name was Shakil and Shoaib. And they figured out कि ये हो रहा है. I don't know how they figured it out, but they kind of protected me and shielded me. But I used to hate going to school. So coming to the point where I tried to express this by going quiet. I used to go out and play quite a bit, but I stopped going out to play. I went into books. I started remaining alone in my room, and nobody, probably at that point in time, it was because my parents were also separating. So mom had her own things to do. Everybody was involved in their own lives. So I slipped through the cracks. ठीक है? और फिर मेरे ऊपर किसने ध्यान नहीं दिया. But I collapsed on the stairwell of my building when I was going to school once because I was so anxious. It was my first panic attack. And I collapsed. I couldn't breathe and I collapsed. And my neighbor found me and he carried me home. So if your son is being carried home by your neighbor and saying he collapsed, the entire day went by saying that isko school nahi jana hai, to ye natak kar raha hai. But this never happened earlier, right? This never happened in the 7 years that I was going to school. This just happened now.
So there must have been some.
There has to be some kind of a, see, I'm not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that this is the way it was,
this
and
is
nobody
the way
paid attention.
This is the way generally parents behave towards children.
Yes.
But this is exactly the point why I'm having this conversation and recording it.
Yeah.
Because parents need to understand that if there is a shift in the behavior of your child, or your child is according to you, making excuses that I don't want to go to school. Find out the reason. Why did that girl have to, jump and kill herself? Why? I mean, you are talking about your abuse,
Yes.
but
No, but
we know about so many of your friends
Yes.
who have also gone through this at school,
correct.
at home.
Yes.
I know about a lot of other people who, also went through this as a child.
So in fact, I also
It's
want
disgusting why men do this.
I also want to, in a way, when you talk about it, Giri, it's not a man-woman thing. Because I also feel that if somebody is hurting as a woman, you should also take charge, and you should also put your foot forward. Like, my son is hurting. So it's not only a man thing. I won't put it all on the doorstep of a certain sex.
No.
Say,
I
for
am
example,
saying, why
listen to
do
me.
men abuse boys or girls?
Like, say for example, my dad. He told me very recently, in 2018, I knew you were like that. Like that, matlab, I'm gay. So basically, he realized since I was 2 that I was gay. And so my entire life, he kind of rejected me and used to hammer me. Hammer, literally. Now, if let's say for example, my parents also separated because of the abuse and because of the alcoholism. If I am a child, your son, okay, you are working outside, you know your husband is capable of abuse. You won't leave me alone in the house at the age of 12 from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, no, with an alcoholic. That happened. Now, I'm not blaming my mom. She had a lot in her head.
Reasons.
You know, a lot. She was the only single earning member. What would she do if she would not go out to earn?
Yeah.
But I was kept at, so, things just happen. It's nobody's. It's nobody's culpable. And now when I take a step back, I think about my dad, and I think about what abuse he must have gone through in his childhood.
Correct.
To repeat the cycle of abuse with me.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I have dogs in my home, right? So whenever I want to hit or lash out, sometimes my partners tell me, "Ke tumne bahut zor ka mara." Then I realize I should not have hit. And why am I doing this? Because it is conditioned.
Conditioned. Yes.
You see? So it
Then
is,
when you're angry, hit.
Yeah, it is.
When you're frustrated,
So
hit.
I have to. So it is, as human beings, we have to learn and process, and we have to realize that हाँ ये मैं करने जा रहा हूँ, मैं रोक रहा हूँ.
There's a
I'm
pattern you
stopping.
need to break.
Yeah, I have to break. One of the reasons I never drank alcohol is because of this. You know. So this is
This is exactly the reason why I stay away from alcohol.
Yes.
Because
Yes. So
because I've
now,
seen what alcoholism does.
and coming to the other point of yours which you made, which is very valid, about the CCTV thing. I told you also, and no offense, but in our entire collective consciousness, we are prepared to cure but not prevent.
Correct.
Correct? So, it's like whenever we at the signal,
Everything is
we are
taken for
seeing
granted.
cops standing at the other corner waiting for people to break the signal, then they'll catch them.
Yes.
But they will not stand at the signal to stop them from breaking the law in the first place.
Perfect. I agree with you. This happens.
So this is systemic.
In every department. It happens everywhere. You know that somebody is taking a bribe, but you will wait to do a sting operation or something and catch them.
And we are all culpable.
Yeah.
We are all culpable. If it's like it's so easy to pass people money and say aapko jaane do.
When you're talking about the road, the police, the government, that's a very large body we're talking about. But something like a school, a college, a building, a society, at least that can be managed and should be managed.
It should be.
Now, if you have CCTVs in the classrooms and you can see that the girl is being harassed, she's complaining to the teacher is busy in her phone, she's not paying attention. The culprit is the teacher,
I think
not even the children. Didn't she see that the other kids are harassing her?
But it's like when I talk about abuse, like when I talked about how my father used to hammer me, in a way many people have told me that what was it? He didn't break bones, right? This is what was told to me. He didn't break any of your bones, right? So ultimately it happened where I nearly got strangled to death, and my sister came in and stopped this from happening when it broke apart, when they realized that this is too much, because they saw it happening. My nana and my sister saw it happening. Otherwise, it was always my word against his. It is always a child's word against an adult's. You see, and what is very important to note is that we do not pay attention to mental problems within our country.
Yes.
It's a very important thing. We don't pay in it. Something has to be
Mental
physical. मेरे को
and
ये
emotional.
देखना चाहिए.
हाँ.
तो मेरे को मालूम पड़ेगा कि हाँ तुमको दर्द हो रहा है. This is the problem.
Yes. So I remember I had done a live session with a lawyer. It's still there on my channel. And I asked her, I said, what about physical abuse in a marriage? Because the subject was divorce and marriage. Now, there are a lot of times when the husband